to get my back blown out in peace. You think I got time to talk about a divorce that's a year old?
It all started quietly behind the scenes, where the public couldn't see. Teyana Taylor, still healing from her highly publicized breakup with Iman Shumpert, was finding her rhythm again. She had always been a mother first, a performer second, and a woman who craved peace in a world that never stopped watching. So when whispers began swirling that she was seeing British actor Aaron Pierre, it caught everyone off guard. He wasn't flashy. He wasn't loud. And for a moment, it seemed like maybe, just maybe, he was exactly what she needed. At first, the relationship stayed private. Teyana was cautious, and for good reason. Her daughters were watching, feeling, absorbing every shift in energy. She had promised herself that she wouldn't bring another man around them unless it felt real, safe, and stable. But slowly, things evolved. Aaron began showing up more. First backstage at events, then family brunches, and eventually inside the home. The shift was subtle, but the kids noticed. And apparently, they didn't like it. Insiders began speaking quietly, carefully. At first, they described the children's reaction as distant but polite. They weren't rude. They weren't disrespectful. But they weren't warm either. Aaron, according to one friend of the family, tried hard to engage them. Gifts, little jokes, watching their favorite shows, but nothing seemed to work. The bond just wouldn't form. Teyana noticed. She felt it, but she brushed it off, thinking maybe time would fix it. Then things started changing. Aaron, who had always seemed reserved in public, reportedly began taking on a more assertive role in private. It started with small things, reminding the kids to put their phones away at the dinner table or asking them not to interrupt. But soon, according to one insider, it escalated. One of the girls was reportedly told she couldn't attend a birthday party because she hadn't finished her chores. The decision, apparently made by Aaron, stunned the household. Teyana was caught off guard. She believed in structure, yes, but the parenting rhythm she had built with Iman was one of gentle correction and open communication. Aaron's tone, according to someone close to the situation, felt like a wall rather than a door. The kids, especially the eldest, began to shut down. They didn't talk as much. They avoided the room when Aaron walked in. And then one night, after a quiet dinner, one of them said something that stopped Teyana in her tracks. Why is he always trying to be the boss? It hit hard, not just because it came from her child, but because deep down, she had started to feel it too. But what really cracked the surface was a specific incident. According to a source who claims to have been present that day, Aaron raised his voice when one of the girls left her backpack on the couch. It wasn't yelling, but it wasn't gentle either. The child, startled, began to cry. Teyana rushed in. Aaron reportedly tried to explain himself, saying it was just frustration, that he meant no harm. But the damage was done. That night, the girls refused to speak to him. The next day, they asked if they could stay at Iman's place for the weekend. When they arrived at their father's, they told him everything. Iman, already skeptical of Aaron, was furious. According to those close to him, he confronted Teyana immediately. He reminded her that while she had the right to move on, no one was going to speak to his children that way. Their conversation, according to a family friend, got heated. Voices were raised. Old wounds reopened. Teyana defended Aaron, insisting he was trying his best. Iman shot back, claiming Aaron had crossed a line he had no business approaching. This wasn't just about parenting styles anymore. This was about trust. After that fight, Teyana was torn. On one side, she had Aaron, a man who made her laugh again, who showed up, who had tried to build something solid. On the other, she had her children, silent, uncomfortable, and emotionally pulling away. She spent nights awake, questioning everything. Did she move too fast? Did she ignore the signs? Was love enough when her own kids didn't feel safe in their own home? Eventually, she sat down with Aaron. It wasn't an easy conversation. Sources say she didn't come to attack. She came to ask, why was he trying to discipline them? Why did he feel he had to step into that role? Aaron, according to those close to him, felt misunderstood. He believed he was helping. He thought he was showing responsibility, commitment. But he admitted he might have come on too strong. He apologized. But something had shifted. After that talk, Aaron reportedly pulled back. He stopped spending the night. He skipped a few family events. He wasn't around as much, and when he was, it was tense. The kids were cold. Teyana was quiet. And Aaron looked like he didn't know where he stood anymore. Then came the tipping point. A birthday party. Teyana planned it herself, balloons, custom cake, the whole thing. Aaron offered to help, but the kids asked that he not come. It wasn't anger. It was just exhaustion. They didn't want another awkward moment. They didn't want to pretend. And that was the moment Teyana knew. You can force a relationship, but you can't force a connection. Friends say she cried that night. Not just because her daughters were hurting, but because she realized she had been trying to build a home with someone her kids couldn't even sit beside. She didn't blame Aaron entirely. She saw his effort. But effort without understanding is like building on sand. Eventually, it all crumbles. Aaron, feeling the distance, reportedly had a long talk with his own circle. He questioned if he belonged in this world. He wasn't just dating a woman, he was trying to fit into a family that hadn't chosen him. And slowly, he started pulling away for good. Teyana never made a public statement. She didn't unfollow him. She didn't post cryptic quotes. She just got quiet. Fans noticed the absence. No photos. No sightings. No more subtle appearances in the background of her stories. And when asked in interviews about her love life, she smiled politely and changed the subject. The truth, as always, wasn't in what was said, but in what wasn't. In the quiet glances that didn't last. In the unanswered texts. In the way they both stopped showing up in each other's orbit. Now, months later, insiders close to the situation say Aaron and Teyana are still cordial, but distant. There's no open hostility, no subtweets, no screaming matches. But there's also no spark, no spontaneous date nights, no sign that the fire is still burning. It's like two people who tried to mix worlds too fast and ended up realizing they were never moving at the same pace. But while the cameras have turned away, life kept going. And the kids, they adjusted. They bounced back like kids often do. Happy, loud, unfiltered. Their laughter returned to the hallways. The tension slowly melted away. And interestingly, Iman, once accused of being emotionally absent, has stepped up. He's been more present, showing up at school assemblies, standing quietly at the back during dance recitals, posting soft, intimate moments with his daughters that say more than words ever could. And Teyana? She's on a different kind of grind now. Focused, private, not hiding but choosing what she shares, healing in silence, learning how to rebuild without needing a man to validate her. Because if there's one thing this chapter taught her, it's that love, real love, isn't just about chemistry. It's about timing. It's about who fits in your world, not just who gives you butterflies. And sometimes those butterflies turn into red flags. She really thought she could make it work. That love, if strong enough, could blend two lives, two families, two completely different histories without breaking anything. She imagined late-night laughter, shared holidays, a house full of music and warmth. But reality? Reality wasn't that soft. It wasn't a love song. It was more like two different tracks trying to play at the same time, beautiful on their own but clashing in the same room. Love like that doesn't always blend cleanly. It looks perfect in photos, but behind the scenes it bleeds. And sometimes that bleeding starts slow. So slow, you don't notice it at first. But Teyana felt it, not in her own heart, but in her children's eyes. The way they pulled away, the questions they didn't ask, the way their joy felt guarded. That was the deepest pain. Not the arguments, not the breakups, but watching her babies try to make sense of something even she hadn't figured out yet. Their innocence began to dim. Their energy shifted. They sensed the storm before she even admitted it was raining. And that was her wake-up call. Because when kids feel something's off, they don't write essays about it. They just get quiet, or loud, or confused. And suddenly, the very home she was trying to build started to feel unfamiliar. That's what changed everything. At the end of the day, peace isn't always some grand, dramatic moment. Sometimes it's painfully quiet. It's sitting across from your kids at dinner and seeing them smile again. It's no longer feeling the need to explain, to fix, to force something that's been broken for a while. Peace is choosing soft over loud, healing over performance. And as much as she once believed in the fairy tale, Teyana had to accept the truth. Magic that hurts isn't magic. Love that makes you second-guess your children's comfort, your own rhythm, your own spirit, that's not love. That's emotional chaos wrapped in romance. She didn't choose drama, though it would have been easy. She didn't lash out or play the public sympathy card. She didn't turn heartbreak into headlines. Instead, she chose something harder, something quieter, something braver.
She chose peace.
Even if it meant walking away from a love that came in the right package, spoke all the right words, but carried the wrong weight on her soul. And sometimes, that's the most powerful kind of choice a woman can make.